And whichever way you habitually cross your legs, uncross them and cross them the other way. And let's focus in a little bit on our breath. So start to settle your mind. Maybe let's start taking some deep breaths in through the nose, holding the breath at the top. And then exhaling. Nice and steadily out. Good, and just do that as many times as you feel like you need to, just to settle yourself, to bring your heart rate a little bit further down, just to calm your mind. And if it's comfortable to you to close your eyes here, then go for it. Let your eyes gently shut. And start to ignore the things around you. You go into your own little cocoon, own little world. Breathing and thoughts. And then think about one area of your body you want to focus on today. Arms, legs, hands, wrists. Anything at all. Remind yourself, although you'll be pushed, you want to understand your body's limitations. Good, let's start to draw another breath in through the nose. And as you do so, let's reach our hands up towards the ceiling, stretching yourself nice and long. And then exhale to fold yourself over your legs as far as you're able to. Draw a strong breath in to roll yourself up. Take a little twist over to the left-hand side. And then a twist over to the right. Good, and then just shake out your wrists. Turn your head from side to side. Good, then just move your elbows up and down like you're doing the chicken dance. And then finally, let's move our shoulders round, forwards and back. Good, let's make our way onto all fours on our mat. Good. We're going to move a little series of movements, okay, that are going to be loosening ourselves up. So let's start by taking our left leg back. Good, now strengthen that leg by pressing the heel back. Good, now we're going to tilt forwards, bend our elbows, squeeze our elbows towards one another and tilt us all the way down until your nose touches the floor. Good, then we're going to bring ourselves all the way back up. Good, now we're going to lift our right knee away from the floor. And as you extend that leg, we're going to bend the left knee, bringing ourselves into this little position. Good. As you re-bend your right knee towards the floor, re-extend your left leg. Good. And then again, let's bend the elbows, touch our nose to the floor, and come all the way up. See if all of your limbs can be deliberately taut here. Good. Again, as you lift the right knee away from the floor, tuck your left knee underneath your chest. Good. Come back, that right knee down. And again, bring your chest towards the floor, nose plants into the mat, and come all the way back up. Good, 2 more. So lift, left knee comes under. Down and left knee goes back out. Good. Bend the elbows, nose touches the floor. Come all the way back up. Good. Again, tuck it underneath and then bring both knees towards the floor. You may find your right arm is feeling a little burning sensation at the moment. So let's just hold it steady, just shake our hips from side to side. Long breath in. Let it go. Good, let's do the same thing, just on the other side. So when you're ready, let's take the right leg back. Heel presses back, leg is strong. If you feel your right hip lifting up and you're turning to the side, then level that right hip back down towards the floor, that everything is pointing towards the floor. Good, when you're ready, bend your elbows, nose touches the mat, all the way back up, lift the left knee, curl the right one under. Good, and then come back to where you were. Bend the elbow, nose comes down, all the way back up. Lift and switch. Coming back down. Good, bend the elbows, all the way back up. Switch, and then come back down. 2 more. Good. Keeping everything as strong as possible. Last one. Good. Lift and down. Good. Let's bring both knees back down. Turn onto the tops of our hands so we can stretch out the back of our wrists. Good. And wiggle our tailbone as we do this from side to side. Good. Then when you're ready, let's flip our hands back over, bring them a little bit further forwards, spread the fingers as wide as you can, and then lift up and back into downward facing dog. Good. Let's start to lower the elbows down onto the floor. If you want to bring your knees down here, you can do, and then re-lift them once you've got your elbows down if you're finding it hard to bring them down without lowering your knees. Good, let's come all the way back up into normal downward facing dog. Good, lower yourself back down onto your elbows, power dog. Breathe. Lift yourself back into normal downward facing dog. Good, now pull forwards into a plank, ripple forwards, keep your legs as strong as you can, press the floor away, and then lift yourself back into downward facing dog. Good, again, inhale, ripple forwards into that plank, hold yourself nice and strong. Good, go back into downward facing dog. Good, let's lift the left leg up. Good, pull forwards again into that one-legged plank this time. And then go back into that 3-leg dog. Good. Pull forwards into a 1-leg plank. And then a 3-leg dog. Good. Again, pull forwards. Lower yourself through a chaturanga and back into a cobra before flipping onto your toes to go back into downward facing dog. Good, same thing on the other side. So when you're ready, let's lift the right leg up. Pull forwards into a plank. Take it back. 3-leg dog. Forwards into a plank. Downward facing dog. Forwards into a plank. Chaturanga. And cobra. Good, let's bring ourselves back onto all fours, and this time make a fist. So we're pressing our fists down into the floor to give our wrists a little break. Then coming onto the backs of our backs of our hands. And breathe. Good, let's bring our hands back to where they were towards the top of the mat, tuck the toes. Let's lift ourselves up and back, downward facing dog. Good, let's lift our left leg up. Hold it nice and steady. Good, now let's straighten out the right leg and come high onto our toes. Good, slowly let's draw that left leg underneath us, pull forwards and step that left foot up towards the top of the mat. Good. When you're ready, let's lift into a high lunge. Good. Bring your hands down past your face towards your chest. Good. Now strengthen your back leg by pressing the heel back. Bend a little deeper into the front knee. Good. Let's start to turn to the left-hand side, bringing our elbows on top of our right knees, left knees. Good. Option here to open our arms to help bring that left knee further across our body. Breathe. Good. Let's come back to prayer hands. Good. Turn back to the center and lift. Good. Now let's bring our hands down onto our waist, press into our left foot and lift ourselves up into warrior three. Breathe. Good. Hold it there. Good. Now nice and slowly, let's bring that leg down so that you're standing on at the top of your mat. Good. Inhale, let's lift our arms. Bend our knees deeply to fold ourselves down towards the floor. Good. Come high onto your tiptoes. Plant your hands into the mat. Good. Now see how slowly you can fly to the back of the mat. Hold yourself in plank. Breathe. Good. Let's lower our right forearm down onto the floor. Turn onto our right outer edge of our right foot. So we're coming into a side plank. Good. Now let's lower our hips towards the floor. If you can, hover them just above the floor. Now let's lift the hips and reach our hands towards the front. Our left hand over. Good. Again, dip the hip, lift and stretch. Good. Last one, dip the hip and then lift and stretch. Good. Bring that left hand back down onto the floor. Help yourself up onto your right hand and then lift yourself back, downward facing dog. Good. Take a long breath in as you lift your right leg towards the ceiling. Good. Straighten out the left and come high onto the toes. Good. Nice and slowly, let's curl that right knee underneath and step that right foot up in between our hands. When you're ready, inhale, lift. High lunge. Strengthen that back leg. Bend a little deeper into your front knee. Hands come down into a prayer. Good. Let's turn to the right. Elbow connects with the top of the right knee. Option here to flare your arms if you so wish to help twist your body around. Breathe. Good. Let's come back to center. Turn back towards the floor. Let's bring our hands onto our waist, press more weight into our right foot and lift ourselves up into warrior three. Breathe. Steady breaths in, steady breaths out. Good. Then let's start to bring that left foot towards the top of the mat. Good. Inhale, extend. Exhale, fold. Good. Again, come high onto your tiptoes, plant your hands into the mat. So bend your knees as much as you need to do this. Good. Find some buoyancy in your legs. And then let's see if you can fly to the back of the mat. Breathe. Hold yourself in plank. Squeeze your abs. Good. Then when you're ready, let's come down onto the left forearm. Same as before. Turn onto the left toes. Good. Dip your hips so they're just hovering away from the mat. And then when you're ready, lift and stretch. Lower and lift. Lower and lift. Good. Let's turn our right hand back towards the floor and lift ourselves back into plank and then downward facing dog. Good, pull forwards into a plank. Lower yourself down through a chaturanga, into a cobra, and then press yourself back into a child's pose. Good, take a long breath in here, and then let it go. Good, let's pull ourselves forwards and up, and back into downward facing dog. Good, when you're ready, left leg lifts. Good, straighten out the right leg and come high onto the toes. When you're ready, we're going to take the leg wide, bend the knee and take it wide in a big semicircle arc. And then bring the foot up in between your hands. So your leg is coming out wide and then back to the center. Good, when you're ready, lift into a high lunge again. Good, now we're going to keep our hands up towards the ceiling. Press into our left foot and lift into a warrior three. Now see if you can hold it here whilst you bring your arms down and level into a cactus and then forwards. Good, bring it back into a cactus and then forwards. Good, back into a cactus and then forwards. Last one. Good, as you re-extend, lift the right leg up to the top of the mat. Take a full body stretch. Good, exhale, fold yourself back down towards the floor. Good, keep going if you can. Hands plant into the floor, high on the toes. Fly to the back of the mat. Good, take yourself down through a chaturanga. Back into a cobra. Good, tuck the toes. Downward facing dog. Long breath in. Strong breath out. Good, when you're ready, right leg lifts. Straighten out the left and come high onto the toes. Good, curl this leg underneath you. Step that foot up, in between your hands. Breathe. When you're ready, inhale and lift into a high lunge. Good, again, we're going to keep our hands high here, pressing into the right foot, lifting it up into warrior three. Good, and then again, extend and cactus your arms. Last one. Good, and then draw that left leg up. Extend your body, and then exhale. Fold yourself back down to the floor. Come high onto your toes, and then fly to the back of your mat. Good, hold yourself nice and strong in plank. Lift your hips. Downward facing dog. Good, long breath in. Sigh it out. Good. Let's lower ourselves back down onto our forearms. So we come back into our power dog. Now see if you can draw your feet in a little bit further here and then lift your left leg up. Hold it there, breathe. Good, let's bring the right knee down onto the floor and bend the left leg. Now start to pump the left leg up and down. Breathe. You should feel this in your glutes. Good, then start to bring that left knee down as well. Come back up onto your hands and come back up into downward facing dog. Good, just wiggle your hips gently from side to side. Then when you're ready, right leg lifts. Good, lift it up nice and high. Oh, hang on, and then bring it back down to the floor as I've forgotten a step. Good, let's bring ourselves back down onto our forearms. We come back into a power dog. Good, see if you can draw your feet forwards a little bit. Stick your bum up nice and high, and then lift your right leg up. Good, hold it there, breathe. and then lower it back down. As you bring your left knee down towards the floor, bend the right. Good, then start to pump that right leg up and down. Breathe. Good, bring both knees down onto the floor. Take a child's pose. Extend your arms forwards to give yourself a big, big stretch. Breathe. Good, let's press our hands down into the floor. Pull ourselves up to all fours, and then inhale ourselves up into downward facing dog. Good, take a long breath in, and then sigh it out. Good, when you're ready, right leg lifts. Curl it underneath you. Step that foot up in between your hands. Come high into high lunge, and then pivot yourselves out into warrior two. Good. Let's flip the front palm and take it back. Bring it forwards. Elbow touches the right knee and reach the hand over. Good. Now we're going to swoop over to the left. We're going to switch our feet to reverse it. And we are going to take that pose on the other side. Good. Come back up. Turn the palm. And then lift into an exalted warrior. Good, then come back to a normal warrior. Good, again, let's switch our feet. And bend deeply. Turn and look over your right hand. Soften your gaze. Breathe. Good, now with the front foot, just turn that one back. So you're facing to the left, potentially, could be to the right. Good, let's bring our feet in a little bit here. So we're side along on our mat. Good. Now I want you to bring your hands to your waist. Press your hips back and bend as deeply as you can. You can turn your toes a little bit out to the side if it helps for you to get lower. Good, now we want to feel like we're pressing our back up against a flat wall. And breathe. Good, when you're ready, let's press our right hand onto our waist and then stretch over to the right hand side. Good. Same thing on the other side. Ignore what's happening in your knees. Bring your awareness to your breath. As we just do these movements from side to side, keeping low in our squat. Good, last one on this side. And then back to center. Good, now extend your legs. Ooh, feel that relief as you extend your legs straight. Good, now we're going to turn the toes so that the heels are actually pointing a little bit further out and the toes are pointing slightly in. Bring your hand onto your waist again. Press your hips back. Push your chest forwards. And begin to do a fold. Trying to make your spine as long as possible as you fold. As you go as far down as you think you can manage, bring your hands down onto the floor. Good. If they can't reach the floor, then just keep them on your hips and ignore the next part. Just holding yourself in the fold. If you can bring your hands down onto the floor, then start to walk your hands forwards until you end up in a wide leg downward facing dog position, and you'll feel the stretch running down the outside of your legs. Breathe. Good. Let's start to move our hands back towards us. Hands come back up onto your waist. Good. And then slowly, keeping that chest trying to press forwards, roll your body back up. This time we're going to turn our toes so they're both pointing straight. So not a little in, not a little out, but straight. Good. We're going to lift our arms and then we are going to bend and cactus. Lift and straighten, bend and cactus. Good. Lift and straighten, bend and cactus. So keep these movements going. See how low you can squat down and see how much you can squeeze your shoulder blades together as you cactus your arms. Keep your breath at the same rhythm as your movements. Inhaling to reach up, exhaling to squat down. Good. The next time you come into a squat, stay there, breathe. Good. Let's bring our arms together, interlace our fingers. See if you can sink down a little bit further. Good. Until eventually, bringing your hands down either side of your legs. Bring your feet in a little bit until you can lower yourself down into a little frog squat. It doesn't matter whether you're high on your toes or flat down on your feet. It makes no difference. Whatever is more comfortable to you. So long as you're able to bring your arms onto the inside of your knees. If you're finding it hard with your toes, with your heels lifted, you may do well to stick a cushion or something underneath your heels, just to take some of the strain away. Good, we're going to do some stretch. Let's take our right hand as far out to the right hand side as you can, keeping it on the inside of your right knee. We're going to bring the other hand to touch the wrist, and then inhale to lift that hand towards the opposite corner, like you're pulling a bow and arrow string. Good. Now, as we round this hand, we want to try and reach forwards as much as possible to bring it back towards the floor. Good. 2 more like that. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, round. Good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach round. Good. Let's move both of our hands over to the left-hand side. Again, coming as far over to the left as you're able to with your arm on the inside of your left knee. Then when you're ready, bring the other hand to touch the wrist and then pull that bowstring. Good. Round it back. Pull the bowstring. Round it back. Pull that bowstring. And then come back to center. Good. Bring your hands towards the center of the mat. And then lift yourself up. Straighten your legs. And roll your body back. So you come back into a mountain pose. Now you may get a little lightheaded if you roll up too quickly. And if you do, just breathe through it. You're standing at a mountain pose at the top of your mat. Good. When you're ready, let's lift our arms up towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, slowly fold yourself back down towards the floor. Good. Again, bend the knees nice and deeply here. Come high onto your tiptoes. Plant your hands into the floor. See how silently you can fly to the back of the mat. Good. Then lift your hips up nice and high. Downward facing dog. Breathe. Good. When you're ready, let's lift the left leg up. Let's curl that leg underneath us and step it up in between our hands. And then begin to shift that foot out towards the left edge of the mat. Good. Let's bring our right knee down for a second and take our right hand to the top right hand corner of the mat. Bring the left hand so it's on the inside of your left knee. Good. Now begin to sink your hips forwards and down. And then begin to lift your back knee away from the floor. And look forwards into a lizard. Good. If you want to come down onto your forearms and you know that you're able to, then gently bring yourself down onto your forearms just to get a little deeper into your stretch. Maybe rolling onto the outer edge of your left foot. You feel it gives you even more in terms of a stretch. And breathe. Keep breathing. Good. Then wherever you are, slowly draw yourself back up onto your hands. Good. Lower your back knee down. And then slowly start to shift your hips back towards your back heel. So you may be able to straighten out your left leg. You may have to bring your hands on top of your left knee. Don't worry if you've got a little bend into the knee. We just want to feel that back and inner part of our leg stretch. Good. Then when you're ready, rebend. Shift that left foot back in towards the center. Lift the back knee and go back into a three-leg dog. Here before lowering that foot down behind. And then lifting the right leg up to do the same thing. So start by curling it underneath and stepping that foot up in between your hands. Lower the back knee down. Let yourself sink in as much as you can into your inner thigh. Then begin to take the right foot to the right edge of your mat, bringing your right hand onto the inside. Breathe. When you're ready, lift the back knee away and then strengthen that leg by pressing the heel back. Again, an option to bring yourself down onto your forearms if you're feeling it. Breathe. Good. Then wherever you are, lift yourself back up onto your hands and lower your left knee down. Start to shift your hips back until you're straightening out your right leg. You may need to bring one hand onto the top of your right thigh, just until you can feel that back and inside of leg stretching. Good. Let's rebend into that right knee. Shift that right foot onto the back to the center. Lift the back knee and take yourself up and back into a three-leg dog. Good. Begin to lower that leg down behind you. Draw forwards into a plank and then lower yourself down through chaturanga. Back into cobra. And open your chest, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, and breathe. Good, and then slowly shift yourself back into a child's pose. Regain your breath. Good, before drawing yourself up to your knees. Good, bringing yourself into the center of your mat and taking your knees a little bit wider. If you can't touch the bottom, if you can't touch your mat with your knees apart, you may want to shove a cushion or a brick or anything that you have nearby you underneath you for support. You don't have to, it just helps with support if you have it. Good. Now let's bring ourselves back onto our hands and then lift our hips up to stretch out the front of our body. Good, and then lower ourselves back down. Good, if you can, bring yourself down onto your elbows. And again, lift your hips just ever so slightly away from the floor or the brick. And then come back down. And then if possible, lie yourself back, hands down by your side. So take whichever one of those three you can do. Just as long as you're stretching out the front side of your body and your quads. Good, then wherever you are, bring yourself all the way back up. Remove any bricks or pillows and shift yourself down onto your bum. Good. Now we're going to lift ourselves up into boat pose. Our bottom half of our legs is parallel with the floor and our arms are going to be parallel with the floor as well. Now we're going to bend our elbows as if we're holding a ball between our hands. Good, now move that imaginary ball over to the left and straighten out your arms. As you do so, straighten out your legs. You're going to have to engage your core muscles here to hold you steady. Then bring everything back into the center and do the same thing on the other side. Center, left, center, right, center, left, center, right. Last one on each side. Before coming back to the center and then lifting the ball over your head, you straighten out your legs, bringing yourself down, stretching yourself as long as you possibly can. Good, then let's start to bring the knees in towards our chest. Good, and then bring our hands down flat next to us. Now use your hands to press into the mat, squeeze your knees towards your chest, and if you're able to roll onto your shoulders. Keep your head nice and steady here. Keep your legs nice and long. Hold it there. Good, then bend your elbows, bring your hands to support your lower back. Bring your knees in towards your chest. And then slowly, with the help of your hands, see if you can draw yourself back down to the floor. Bringing the soles of the feet down onto the mat. And then let's just gently windscreen wipe our knees from side to side. And then nice and slowly, let's draw our feet forwards. Bring our hands to rest, either on our belly or down by our sides. And let's take one long breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just allow everything to sink into the mat. And then bring the awareness to your jaw. Just move the bottom part of your jaw gently from side to side. And then lay it to rest. Bringing your tongue relaxed down on your lower palate. And then think about the space underneath your eyes. Just let them soften and broaden. And then your eyebrows and the space that sits between them. The same thing. Let them relax, let them come apart and broaden. And then allow your eyes to sink back towards the floor. And then soften your forehead, unwrinkle it. And let everything become still. And gently start to wiggle your toes and your fingers and your nose. And begin to draw your knees in towards your chest. And roll yourself over to either the right or the left hand side. Gently pressing yourself back to the seated position you took at the beginning of the class. But this time you can bring your legs in the more habitual way. It's more comfortable. Let's take a long breath in together. And then a long breath out. And then gently flutter your eyelids open. Thank you for joining today. Make sure you drink plenty of water if you sweated your ass off like I did. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. So to all of you, but most importantly to yourselves, we can bow and say, Namaste. Thank you very much.